Good afternoon and welcome to the People's Verdict. This is your governance program brought to you by Cabinet TV, where we get to talk about things that matter the most to the people of Zambia. And today in the studio, I have Mr. CASSIUS AKAPELWA. He is the acting president for the Republican Progressive Party, RPP, and he is also the member of the UPND Alliance, and we'll be talking about the UPND's 10 months in office, and it is actually heading to 11 months, and we're just going to be assessing that. But before that, we also have pertinent issues that have been emerging pertaining to the UPND Alliance. Mr. AKAPELWA, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Soko. I'm glad you hosted me.
We are happy that you could find time to be with us this afternoon. Interesting. Our dear viewers, you also going to be calling on the program in case you want to join the conversation, in case you want to ask our guest some questions on the number that will be put on your screens so that you can contribute to this topic of discussion that we are having in studio. And Mr. AKAPELWA, before we get started with our conversation, we'll look at the aspect of the alliance because that's been topical, the UPND Alliance, and we start by looking at the affairs of the alliance in that has it become a failed project? Because to just qualify our context, we'll look at the clip that is coming from the All People's Congress Party president, that is Mr. Nason Musoni, and we'll also play it back to back with some of the trending issues that have been coming pertaining to the UPND Alliance, where you yourself were quoted. We also quoted Mr. Daniel Shimuza, who was talking about these issues, and before that we also had Mr. Cornelius Mwetwa, who is the UPND spokesperson, talking about issues pertaining to the alliance, and all these has created a perception that there is disunity in the alliance, or rather it is turning apart. Like our headline for the yesterday's news was that wrangles deepen in the UPND Alliance. So let's get to listen to that clip.
The attempt by the opposition political parties to forge an alliance or to work together. Our unsolicited view, our view is that it's a dangerous political estimation to underestimate a political alliance, especially if you yourselves were a product of a political alliance. It is not a secret that the PF lost elections in August 2021 because they had similarly underestimated the UPND Alliance. They said it was an alliance of jokers. They said it was an alliance of briefcase political parties. What happened? They lost political power. So for you who are a product of a political alliance, you start making such statements that they're political jokers. Muzadabwa. And especially when you have betrayed the very people that came to you at the weakest point. You betray such people, such leaders, such alliance partners. It is being politically myopic. Where we are going, the game is going to get tough. It will get very tough. Bear in mind. Bear in mind that you have betrayed your comrades, your colleagues that came for you when you needed friends.
The United Party for National Development UPND Alliance has been on the spotlight of recent, following wrangles from some UPND Alliance members, among them All People's Congress APC President Mr. Nason Musoni, who have allegedly been bemoaning the lack of appointment after rallying behind the UPND in the 2021 general elections. UPND National Spokesperson Mr. Cornelius Mwetwa, at a recent press briefing, described as selfish UPND Alliance members who are seeking positions, stating that some only joined the alliance a few months before the general elections and should therefore not be too expectant. Amidst all this confusion, Movement for National Transformation MNT Party President Mr. Daniel Shimuza has come in condemning the remarks by Mr. Mwetwa, speaking as UPND Alliance Council of Presidents spokesperson. The Republican Progressive Party RPP, which is also a UPND Alliance member, has however charged that Mr. Shimuza is not the recognized UPND Alliance spokesperson, as the office was handed over to the RPP by then UPND Alliance President Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. Addressing the media Monday, RPP Acting President Mr. AKAPELWA explains that with the former party president, who was the UPND Alliance spokesperson Mr. Leslie Chukuse, being appointed into the civil service, the mantra should be passed on in the party.
These comrades should make statements representing their political parties, not the alliance, because the mandate does not fall within that jurisdiction. So we are basically saying, moving forward, we are going to be representing the alliance because we are brainchildren of that organization. We understand the organization. We were there at its formation. Those that wants to come and spoil it, we are not going to allow that.
Mr. AKAPELWA has also backed statements by Mr. Cornelius Mwetwa, charging that there is an invisible hand working against the UPND Alliance by bringing complaints from members.
We are privy to information. There is an invisible hand. There is an invisible hand that is trying to distract this so-called alliance. We are aware. And these comrades, they should just come out in the open and tell us what their intentions are. Or before it, let them drop out of the alliance. In fact, we are proposing, we are proposing today that the president should actually leave them to be part of this alliance.
Meanwhile, RPP Secretary General Mr. Stanley Malama has also added his voice.
For this reason, allow me to exercise the powers vested in me to announce the real and the owner of this position of Alliance spokesperson, who is no other than Mr. CASSIUS AKAPELWA.
In a phone interview, MNT President Mr. Daniel Shimunza has however threatened to report anyone challenging his position to the police.
The Council of Presidents, including the Republican President and the chairpersons and everybody, they chose me to be a spokesperson for the alliance. And they are letters to that effect. And so that position is not correct. The alliance spokespersonship is not an inheritance from the party. So if they're impersonating that they are spokesperson, when the council sits, we shall go to the police and get them arrested for impersonation as spokesperson for the council presidents.
While stakeholders have been questioning if the union is crumbling, the UPND Alliance has maintained that it stands strong and cannot be divided. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Well, there you have it. Quite interesting issues are coming from both camps there. Mr. AKAPELWA, what do you have to say concerning, first of all, what Mr. Musoni had to say before we come to this other clip? Mr. Musoni was of the view that it is getting very tough soon and that you need the alliance members and they feel abandoned by the UPND Alliance. What is your take on that?
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Soko, and thank you very much for this invitation. I think the matter that is right now going round is a matter of concern for all the members of the UPND Alliance as well as the citizens at large. First of all, Mr. Musoni's statement, it's a reason why you don't make statements when you are bitter, upset and frustrated. The best thing that you do is to calm down, go back, sit and resolve on the decisions that you are to make moving forward. Here in the UPND Alliance, we've been very categorical, I must say. Look, it's very unfortunate that President Musoni is frustrated and is bitter and making all those statements around the media. I'm very sure that Mr. Musoni has access to the president, because all that we are getting and hearing right now is nothing else apart from frustration. Look, out of the 12 political parties in the alliance, 7 have been appointed in government positions, not cabinet positions, in government positions. I still come back and say, they are members of the UPND that have been there since inception. They've grown old and older in the UPND organization, and until now they've not seen those positions yet. Mr. Msoni joined the alliance a month and a half prior to elections. He's already frustrated and is the loudest, featuring in all the media platforms, complaining. You can tell that this man is coming to the organization was with an intention, or rather an interest and a position, to get a position.
But don't you think it's justified, considering that, for instance, from RPP, we have a prominent person serving in government, and you people have also taken up the mantle to replace, for instance, Mr. Chikose. He was the president of RPP,
yes,
but now he's serving in government, and you have also taken over. Don't you think Mr. Musoni as himself, probably no one has been appointed from APC, don't you think he has a justification to make?
A justification to make, but not in public. He is a president, and is the inner circle of the Council of Presidents. The communication there should be amongst themselves. We have the chairman of the presidents, who is President Milupi. He has his access to him. He could have offloaded his grievances rather than parroting on all the media platforms. What message is he sending to the public? What message is he sending to the president himself? One, he's demeaning the appointing authority, because you can tell the bitterness. Boss, even here in this organization cabinet, there's procedure. Why not follow procedure and exhaust the procedure? And if you fail to exhaust it, the best way to do is now make a statement. He's not told us how much effort is made to reach out to the president, the appointing authority. All that we've seen, boom, is serious attacks to the organization of the UPND Alliance.
Does that amount to why you are saying that there are people who are being sponsored?
It's a known fact, and sooner or later, we will still come back here and give you that information. Because you can't, trust me, just within a year, you are already frustrated and you want jobs. The backstop of these appointments is the president. It starts from the president and ends with the president himself. So who is even directly attacking? He's attacking President Hakainde Hichilema. Yet there is a channel and a procedure in all manner that he so wishes to echo his grievances. So for us, he gets to the media and attacks the appointing authority. We shall also get to the media and rebut on his statement. Because there are some of us who were there from inception, who were at the center stage orchestrating that this organization called UPND Alliance works and liberates the freedoms of its people, the citizens of this country. With him, it's very unfortunate, and I sympathize with him, that as an experienced politician, have you heard anybody from NDC complaining, coming on media and complaining? Yet they were there. Have you heard anybody from ADD? Or
we had Mr. Lucky Mulusa, who is out of the MDC.
So this is what happens when you are too expectant. When your spirit tells you, I'm doing this with an intention to get a job, and then it doesn't come at an expected time. These are the consequences and results. You're frustrated, you make unpalatable statements till you break. In the end, because you are not patient enough. Hence what we are seeing right now. I've given counsel on a number of platforms to my colleagues in the UPND Alliance. Take it easy, relax, let the appointing authority, and let me tell you, I've always said this, we're dealing with a sober man at State House, very sober, who watches everything that everybody's doing. And he has said it time and time again. I read and I see what people say and what they do. So, if you're not patient enough, these are the results. Where you want to get frustrated, and here is what we're experiencing now.
Another interesting aspect of this conversation is that of the spokesmanship. And how do you want to claim inheritance of the spokesmanship, Mr. AKAPELWA? Considering that we saw that you had we had a briefing that we were privy to. I remember when we had Mr. Kawana and is it Mr. Leslie Chikuse when talking about the issues pertaining to the who is the spokesperson. It wasn't handed over. It was later handed over to Mr. Kawana. By then, if I recall,
media director.
Media director, yeah, yes. On the aspect of media director, yes. Then we also wanted to know now on the aspect of spokesmanship, because we remember the first press briefing that we also attended when Mr. Shimunza was also announced. It was actually a full bench. It was announced as unveiled as the spokesperson. You mean all those maneuvers have been outside your knowledge, or they were done illegally, according to you?
Well, the issue there was, look, if I might ask you, who was there when it was being unveiled? Would you be able to recall the names?
Not
amongst the people that unveiled Mr. Shimunza's alliance spokesperson?
We remember when a lot of activities were happening, especially when you emerged victorious. And I remember when you were coming
Mr.
as...
Soko, let me take you back. President...
But it says the President's Council, the way you call it as alliance,
yes,
actually settled for him.
Okay. When the alliance was built, His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema appointed Sean Tembo as the alliance spokesperson. I'm giving you the background.
Yes, I can even recall the Sean Tembo arrangement before he even resigned.
Before these colleagues came, Sean Tembo was appointed the alliance spokesperson. Thereafter, when Sean Tembo withered out of the alliance, they came one James Kasanda Lukuku, who was then RPP president. May so rest in peace.
We followed that.
He passed on. Thereafter, the mantle was handed over, appointed by the president himself, one Leslie Chikuse now, who is in the Civil Service Commission. Or in the Police Service Commission.
Yes.
And that said, till then, we never heard of any appointment of the alliance spokesperson. You understand? In my view, this position has been vacant. You get the point? So if you look at the whole process, the process of appointing the spokespersonship of the alliance, if you look at the background, it's the president himself. So here we are saying, was Mr. Shimunza appointed by the president?
Yes, according to him, he was appointed by the President's Council.
No, I'm being categorical here. I'm not talking about the President's Council. I'm talking about the one who is the president of the President's Council, who is the president of this republic, President Hakainde Hichilema. Even then, he's the one who used to chair meetings. We have the alliance president, or rather chairman, we call him, Mr. Milupi, okay, with whom everybody reports to in case of anything. Then Mr. Milupi relays it to the alliance president, who is President Hakainde Hichilema. He is the one who appoints all these positions that I'm telling you about. So now here, we're asking our colleague, can you produce documentation to that effect that was appointed by President Hakainde Hichilema? So if there is nothing of that sort, then he's occupying that seat illegally.
You are claiming there is a vacancy, Mr. AKAPELWA.
Yes.
But you also, Dr. Shimunza was also categorical to say it is not by inheritance. Why do you seek to inherit Mr. Chikuse's position? Interesting indeed.
By virtue that the spokesperson of RPP, you know why we are saying
yes.
this? It's because these comrades that came after everything was cemented and consolidated did not understand the background of appointments. You understand? So here the point is very clear. We are saying we are not inheriting, but the position of president of alliance spokesperson is still under the tutorage of RPP's leadership. So it's not an inheritance program till it's vacant as we speak, till the president of the alliance appoints. So in this case, the fact that I was a secondment from President Hichilema, automatically I ride on that particular position, awaiting for ratification of that appointment by the president himself. Other than that, whoever that is purporting to be riding on that position is masquerading. And that's our position. I will maintain that position till now.
So we were also preview to this morning's press briefing by the alliance, and they also put up some issues categorical to say the substantive spokesperson is Dr. Shimunza. That was the essence of their communication today. But I also want to find out, does this mean that you people are not in agreement, or you'd rather be in this antagonistic arrangement, or you would also want to resolve this issue off the media? Or are you also meeting off the media?
What we are not appreciating is that if you look at what has been trending is that Honorable Mwetua made a statement. Okay? He made a very clear statement. You can't all be appointed in cabinet. It's not possible. It's not possible. You understand?
Yes, it is.
The same example I'm citing here is what he cited. He said, if there are members, look at all the members in the UPND that have been there since inception, have not gotten appointments yet. And the people that just came yesterday are already crying foul that they've been left out. How do you expect the other members to feel? And that one has been a statement. I've made that statement from then till now. I still maintain the same statement. We can't be overambitious. And neither do we feel that appointments can all come at once. Let our colleagues sober up. Even then, as a spokesperson of the alliance, so he claims, he could have watered down that statement of Mr. Msoni. But instead, he was quick to rebut what the minister's statement, on the minister's statement. So what does that tell you? Because for I know, as a spokesperson, you have to ensure by all means possible you protect the image of the organization.
Are you suggesting that he has been failing in his duties?
I didn't say that. Those are not my words. But you are there to judge yourself if he's been failing or not. Here you are appointed as corporate affairs for cabinet. And you are the first person to again reprimand your superiors within the organization in public. What does that tell you? Outside the image of the organization, you give a view to protect the image of the organization. Then internally you are resolving. That's what we expected our comrades to be doing. But what are they doing? They are demeaning the president's appointments. Instead of giving an advisory council to and encourage the leadership of this particular organization, all that they are doing is literally demeaning and frustrating presidential appointments. And how do you expect us, some of us, to feel that are within that organization, that we are there from inception?
Mr. AKAPELWA, are we bound?
We've not even gotten appointments yet.
Are we bound to fulfill the perception of, or the school of thought that alliance do not succeed in Africa, or let's say even in Zambia? Or is there any future for this political alliance?
The alliance in this country succeeded, and we are now part of the governance system.
But but it seems like it's failing to work together.
No, it's not failing. It's just a few individuals who are frustrated.
How are you going to get over this situation?
No, there's a procedure. I think the best way to do is that the appointing authority should basically come in and reprimand these characters, and whatever intentions they are trying to frustrate the programs that are being initiated by the authority. I think this is a mere well orchestrated program with which we are not going to allow as individuals that have been there and fought for this particular organization.
As we leave the subject of the political alliance, are you still maintaining that you are the spokesperson for the alliance by inheritance?
By inheritance? Why are you putting inheritance there? It's not inheritance. It's crystal clear that the one who appoints the position of spokesperson is the president himself, the president of the alliance. And as we know, let people produce documentation that they were appointed by the president himself.
He threatened to produce that evidence and to further report you for impersonation.
They are not impersonating me. I was endorsed as an alliance spokesperson for my party.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, in case you are just joining us, you are watching the People's Verdict, and we've been talking about the UPND Alliance with Mr. CASSIUS AKAPELWA. He is the acting president for the Republican Progressive Party, RPP, and they are also part of the UPND Alliance, and we've been just dissecting the issue that has been topical, especially last week and this week, pertaining to the UPND Alliance and various perspectives that have emerged from various stakeholders within the political alliance, and various stakeholders have been of the view that the alliance is bound to fail. And now we get to other issues, Mr. AKAPELWA, over our conversation, and want to zooming into the UPND's performance 10 months down the line. Are you satisfied with what we are seeing so far in terms of development? Are you in the right track as alliance partners to the UPND?
First of all, what is good about this government is that hope is still alive. Okay? When hope is still alive, what that means is that we are basically in capable hands. What we are experiencing now is order in the governance system. Without order, we can't succeed. 2, the president has been very categorical and he's put it straight before you and I and the country at large that citizens of this country, we are doing our best to uplift the welfare of the citizens of this country. It's not easy to take over the government that was infiltrated with all manner of economical problems. If you check, the cleansing process has taken long because corporate graft is not an easy process to water down. So I think we're on the right track. You and I have to support the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema if we are to succeed. What we're experiencing is a total bitterness and frustrations where you want to fail to accept that there is now change. And when that gets to your system of your body, it will be very difficult to acclimatize with what is obtaining on the ground. So here what we are basically saying is that we're in capable hands, and I can assure you that we are seeing the president as who believe that he's going to deliver in good time. We still have hope, and hope is still alive. So far, there are challenges along the way, and these challenges soon, they will be in the past, and we're going to see the best out of it.
And let's talk about specifics, the fight against corruption. 10 months down the line, no convictions, and the president was actually testifying that people think he's just becoming a motivational speaker. And he also challenged those years appointed to ensure that they deliver. He also pointed out, among other issues, the need to stop arresting people who are without evidence or thorough investigation, especially among law enforcement wings. Do we still have hope that the fight against corruption will be a success?
As a citizen of this country, who's as well as concerned as yourself, as everybody else, like I would tell you that the good part of democracy is that, or rather this government is that, well, the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema has left the independency of the judiciary to preside on a number of cases. But I can tell you, as it's frustrating as it sounds or as it seems, I'm sure with everything and time, I know that people are waiting for these convictions. But you can't convict anybody if evidence is not overwhelming. Hence what we are seeing and rather experiencing. However, we wait and see, because as I know that I think there are processes soon of judicial reforms. I think I heard those pronouncements when Honorable Haimbe made those pronouncements, and I think the President made those pronouncements. Maybe what is affecting this whole process is about fighting corruption and judicial reforms. So I think the process is larger, further than now, and we hope for the best, that if these reforms could be expedited and for the benefit and the betterment of the Zambian people, I think we all are waiting to see that.
Interesting. Let's also look at the aspect of ministers. The president was of the view that he was also telling the ministers to stop waiting for instructions. Do you think, do you agree with the perception of others that it's like others are waiting for the president to issue instructions? And the president also gave an example where we saw the body of a Zambian who died in China. The president was actually explaining to say, I had to intervene to tell the Minister of Foreign Affairs to say, bring that body to Zambia. They said, no, we don't have a budget line. The president said he had to insist and say, it's for the interest of the people. Do you think it is justifiable that people have to always wait for the president to intervene, especially on matters that are on the ground?
You must understand that most of these appointments of ministerial positions, it's a learning curve, and then obviously others, they are trying to acclimatize with the governance system, how it operates and how it runs. So there's going to be teething problems along the way, but I'm sure most of these appointed ministers, they have to move in and quickly help the president to deliver. The deliverables and the expectations of the Zambian people, I think, are too much, you know. So I think we need to up our game, and the ministers need to up their game, so that quickly they, certain things you don't need instructions, I think. Certain things are just out of leadership. Certain things are just about leadership. You apply leadership where you know, even if you are questioned, you'll be able to respond to that. So really, I think it's a learning curve at the end of the day. I think many of them are new with their jobs, and I'm sure sooner or later they will get to understand how the system operates.
As RPP, especially that you are the president, is there hope that on the issue of CDF, considering that since we commenced the implementation of the 2022 national budget in January this year, the first disbursement in terms of youth empowerment, women empowerment and other projects is yet to be, the people are yet to see the benefits of those funds, because the funds are not dispersed, and we're going into the second quarter already. And is there still hope?
The minister made a statement to say money is sitting in most of these council accounts. But what has been lacking there is the actualization process in how that money can be dispersed. However, like I said, you see, it's a process to understand these things. You can imagine from 1.6 million to 25 point something million within the constituency. You can't just... we do not want to experience what we're experiencing in the past, where money is disbursed on interested parties because then they belong to this particular grouping. I think here what is lacking is processes of documentation that qualifies to disbursement. I think that's where the problem is. So I think they're trying to rectify that so that money reaches in capable hands within the constituencies and wards up to that level. So I think it's a process where certain things have to be cemented. Otherwise, I hate that money is seated in these particular constituencies, and the Minister of Local Government, Honorable Nkombo, he made an indication that soon, I think a month or so from now, we should be able to see these monies reaching out to intended purposes. It's not an easy riding, my brother. It's not easy. I think there's a process of learning as well as in the implementation. So let us give chance and an opportunity for this government to work and deliver. We know for sure that this government is going to deliver.
Well, our dear viewers, in case you are just joining us, you are watching The People's Verdict, and I'm your usual host, Patrick Soko, and in conversation I have the acting RPP President, Mr. CASSIUS AKAPELWA, and we are discussing various issues pertaining to governance. And just now, in case you want to join us by calling the studio, the number is on your screen. You can call us and give us your perspective or ask your question to our guest. You can as well as send your contribution on our Facebook page by leaving a comment, and we'll be able to lead it right here on the program. And just now, we are going to take a short break. I will be back on the other side. Keep it on Camden TV. Stay tuned.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camden Channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. You are still watching The People's Verdict. In case you are just joining us, you haven't missed much, but we are talking a little to more things, talking about the UPND Alliance as well as pertinent development matters with the acting RPP President, Mr. CASSIUS AKAPELWA. You can join the conversation via our Facebook page by leaving that comment, as well as liking our Facebook page and following it. You can as well as call in direct to the studio if you want to join the conversation. And now, Mr. AKAPELWA, I also want to get your perspective on this particular issue that has been affecting the UPND Alliance. The President has, of course, assured the nation on several occasions that he's going to address this particular issue, which is the cost of living, which has been affecting most vulnerable citizens. We understand that the cost of living has been on an upward trajectory, even under the previous administration. But you, as the UPND Alliance, you were voted in on account of reducing the cost of living. And we are about 10 months going to 11 there. And are we still having, should people still have hope that you are going to address the escalating cost of living, which is too high for many Zambians?
Yes. What has necessitated that is an inherited economical issue. Right now, what we're experiencing is a normal trend of doing business. Normal, not something sugar-coated. So here, when we talk about economical, I'm not an economist myself. The same shop you buy things from, those inventories and stuff, that's where we all buy from. And would you really be sure that this has been necessitated by the UPND government? No. But I can tell you that, like I said from my preamble, is that with everything that comes with a harder punch as it has become, I can tell you that you bet my finger that sooner or later again, when things get down, the economical feeling gets down, and where we start experiencing economical change. I want you again to come and invite me in the future and tell me, okay, remember the Iranians will come back for Manjapa. I think this is what we're saying. Look, when there is order as it were, I can assure you, my brother, that soon, and I want to quote what the President said, I know what the Zambian people are experiencing right now. Things are tough. But I can tell you soon and very soon, we're going to see things coming to normal. The reason why he's going around as a chief marketing officer of this country, he has been very categorical. He's trying to lobby as soon as possible so that you and I can be able to transact internationally, can be able to trade with these other countries. If I can tell you that more than 60% of the Zambian citizens, most of them are into entrepreneurship. You understand? So,
but why are you defending him as the chief marketer when he criticized his colleagues when he was in opposition, when they tried to be chief marketers for the country?
Chief marketers.
Even yourself, Mr. AKAPELWA, you criticized the previous administration.
Yes, you can only criticize objectively. Who are criticizing the previous leadership? Because then when they go with an entourage, all that you see on the media platforms is that yesterday they were partying, yesterday they were shopping. Can somebody come here and tell us the entourage of the president, if you overheard that they went in shopping spree or they were in a party mode? It's business. Running a country is business. This is what I'm saying. We have capable leadership. You and I know you are a journalist. I think you even have well-documented programs there where we could see our colleagues when they go out of the country. They want to jump on it and feel how it feels to be on a yacht. This president, no. It's 24/7 work. So, what are we trying to say? I'm not trying to defend him. This is why I'm saying, to some of us that believe in him, there are others who criticize him. I can as well criticize objectively, you understand, within my inner circle. But I'm basically saying, I'm very hopeful, one, as an individual, as well as our party in government, in the alliance colleagues in government, that we are very hopeful that we're in capable hands. And all these things, economic-wise, I can assure you, my brother, things are going to be okay, and soon and very soon.
I also want to get your views on the Financial Intelligence Center trends report, especially on money laundering activities. We saw this report in the past being shelved, and we also saw President Hichilema make categorical remarks that this report must be followed through in its totality without sugarcoating or censoring it in other ways. We also want to get your perspective as a political party on how you'd want matters pertaining to the FIC should be handled.
The good part is that report, I think we now have had ratification of the SEC director, as you know, Mr. Puri, I think very equal to the task, as well as the board chairman, Mr. Mwenye, equal to the task. So I'm pretty much sure that with all these changes within the system that superintends on matters to do with graft, I think soon they have to start effecting that. Because graft, and we're talking about people's money here, you understand? We can't have a system where only a few cliques of individuals are seemingly flourishing in honey and the rest of other citizens are living in total squalor. It can't be correct, and it's not right. So, these colleagues that have been mandated to serve the Zambian people in the areas to curtail the graft in the system, we want them to quickly, as they are mandated and given those jobs by the Zambian people, to represent the Zambian people. And quickly, if there are any recoveries that are required to be recovered for the benefits of the citizens of this country, please, there should never be any sacred cow. Even in the ruling party itself, any suspicious transactions, can you please hammer? Because, you know, at the end of the day, the backstop, again, is ends at the appointing authority. So if they are appointed, they have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that they are capable of curtailing a graft in the system. So we're very hopeful that looking at those appointments, pretty much very optimistic that I think we'll be tackling matters related to corruption.
Let me also take you back to the political front. Are you in any way, as the UPND alliance, threatened by the maneuvers by other political parties to forge a working relationship in form of a loose alliance? We saw the likes of the Patriotic Front, the Rainbow Party, now the Economic Front. We also saw Chirifya Tayari with his EEP coming together. Are you in any way threatened to say you may be a one-term government?
Threatened is a term that cannot match what we are thinking of. The question is, these alliances, are they being formulated on principle that they want to remove the UPND alliance out of power, or is it the mandate given by the Zambian people? Already you can see the organizations that are coming together. But however, you know the beauty of democracy. The beauty of democracy is that everyone has freedoms to associate to any organization that they find fit. They can. So if it's out of principle, fine. The battlefield is in 2026. So we are waiting to see how they'll manage that alliance, because even us, we are ready for any eventuality, because we're a party that was in the opposition for a long time. So even how we strategize and strike, we have far much experience. So them is a learning curve, and we have experience. So let's see if they'll match up to our standard. But at the end of the day, the beauty of democracy, and then, you know, the good part is that they are going to bed with an organization that was wounded out a few months ago. And looking at the history, like the Patriotic Front is going for rebranding, so we don't know who is emerging as their leader. So for now, it's too early to to pass judgment. But it's politics, and let's see how they emerge and be part of the political front that they are fighting the UPND. We want them to give us counsel and criticize objectively. I think that has been our core.
Has there been strong opposition so far? Are you able to feel that there is strong opposition that is able to persuade you and convincingly?
There is no strong opposition, but what we are just seeing is bitterness from a few individuals within the ranks of the opposition. Otherwise, strong opposition for now, only that we are seeing are those that are bitter, that were saying President AKAPELWA will never be president of this country. And amongst them, or there are others who are so wise, and they are just watching and checking, because they know for sure that it's too early to pass judgment. You can't start criticizing the government within 8 months, really. I think it's very logical to even do that. First of all, you give a tenure, because there will be teething problems. And here is a government that has never been in government. And you find that they are trying to cleanse, and the process of getting to settle and all that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden you are jumping, you are already criticizing. We are saying, can you criticize objectively and give chance for the organization to preside on the majority people that put them there? That's just our core.
Your concluding remarks, Mr. AKAPELWA.
My concluding remarks are that, first of all, I want to encourage my colleagues from the UPND Alliance that the unity of purpose, whereas we can as well advise and give counsel to the leadership, is that it should not be out of frustration and bitterness. It should be out of giving guidance and helping the government to provide the promises that the Zambian people are waiting for. Because it would be too naive for us within the ranks to go on the mountain and start criticizing and all manner of the regulatory remarks over the appointing authority. I think for some of us that have been there, that suffered for this organization, we're not going to allow that. The first thing that you do is if you're not agreeing with the principle, wither. Chokani koni baba, join where you feel it makes sense. Because you can't all be appointed at the same time. And that's a problem that I have. And you see, there is procedure in how you can criticize or how you can exhaust your anger. And that's my advice and my plea to my colleagues. And that's where I have a problem. You can't be, no, you're even giving threats to the appointing authority. No, you will see, you will do what? After all, time is soon. No, you are frustrated and you are bitter. The first thing you do is relax and drink water and wait for your time to be appointed.
Well, there you have it. If you are frustrated, you can go ahead and drink water. Those are the words of Mr. CASSIUS AKAPELWA, the UPND Alliance member, as well as the acting president for the Republican Progressive Party, RPP. This has been Patrick Soko. Until we come with another episode of The People's Verdict, stay tuned and keep it on Camry TV. Remember, Camry TV is not just another channel.